Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump is currently having his crypto summit. He will be speaking today about the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, along with the Digital Assets Reserve, which will include some other assets. We're unsure on what those assets are, possibly Solana, XRP, maybe ADA, maybe Chainlink, some other ones he didn't mention in that tweet that really caused a lot of the coins, a lot of the top coins in terms of market cap to boom. And we'll talk about why he mentioned those. But first, we want to talk about what is the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. It is different than the Digital Assets Reserve because people thought originally Trump was just going to do the Bitcoin Reserve and there'd be an investment into Bitcoin from the US government. Well, it doesn't seem like that's happening, unfortunately, but it does seem like obviously they're putting a huge emphasis on this. We're going to go to this. People are like, well, Trump's disinterested. He looks like he doesn't want to do this. Well, he doesn't know a lot about crypto, but this is a good thing. He's signing this executive order. This creates the reserve, and the U.S. government, when we confiscated Bitcoin and things that were illegal, they would just sell it sporadically. There was no strategy behind it. Now they have a strategy. That's why Trump's top crypto people have said, we've lost around $17 billion in unrealized gains because when the U.S. government confiscates the crypto, remember they confiscated a ton off the Silk Road. Imagine they held that. They had an actual strategy behind it. So there's no strategy. Now there is a strategy because of this. The issue, and this is why Bitcoin didn't boom yesterday when Trump announced the Bitcoin Reserve, is because people assumed the United States would be buying Bitcoin. And I thought the U.S. would be making an investment to where we would get around 5% of the total supply. Right now, the total supply based off burning is around 19.5 million. The total supply overall is 21 billion, but I believe some of it's been burned. And so you'd be looking at around 1.1, maybe 1.2 million Bitcoin. Supposedly, and they're going to do an audit on this, the Bitcoin Reserve will start with around 200K Bitcoins. And it's not from money that they're investing. This is just confiscated Bitcoin that they've had that before this strategic reserve was put into place would just be sold to centralized exchanges and top markets just randomly, periodically, on a whim. There was no strategy behind it. So it's good that this is going into place. I wish the United States would have acquired 5% of the total supply, which is around 1.2 million, give or take. They have around 200K, supposedly. They said they're doing it. They don't know for sure. But that's why the Bitcoin price did not spike. And people were telling me that. And I was like, oh, yeah, that does make sense now that they're not buying any. This is just confiscated Bitcoin. But now instead of just selling it in a whim, where there's no real thing in place to maximize the value of it. I mean, the argument is it would have been so amazing if Trump would have created this in his first term. And you're talking about Bitcoin when it was around 16, 17K. You make a lump sum purchase of like 1 million BTC or like 500K BTC. It would just be a crazy, because you're talking about like a 6 or 7x based off of where it is now, and then maybe a market top of like 150, 200K. You could have already sold off the entire investment you put into it, and you would have still had like 80% left if you would have bought it around 16K. But even buying right now like 85, 86K, if they did do that, I still think the market top is going to be 150 or 200K in September or October based on the 4-year cycle. And you're going to see a lot less of there's always going to be volatility with Bitcoin, but because of the ETFs, because of the investment from major institutions, you're not going to see Bitcoin back down, I don't think, once it goes to like 150, 200K, back down under 100K. I just don't think there's too much money involved in it. Now, certainly, again, it's going to be more volatile than the stock market, and some people don't like that, but I don't think you're going to see these things like we had with the crypto crash and even this past cycle where it goes down to like 15, 14K after reaching 69,000. You're not going to see those type of drops anymore. It's going to be a lot more stable because of the investment into it by major governments. So I would say, you know what? You're not buying at the top. Go ahead, buy 5% of the supply. This is huge. This is going to make us so much money, but they don't want to commit to that. This is a very easy thing for Trump to do. Very easy. No wasted money. It's just setting up a strategy rather than selling. I mean, would they consider selling if it hits like 150K? I mean, I don't know, what their actual barometer is on that. But let's play this. Let's see what Trump is saying. And people are like, well, Trump's disinterested. Well, he doesn't know much about crypto. I mean, this is he has experts. That's the point of this. You have to, when you're the president, you have to appoint people. It's very important. You're not going to be an expert on everything. So Trump's like, yeah, whatever. It's like he's sleeping. But listen, this is big stuff. Let's take a look at this.
Today we're signing. This is a very historic and executive order establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve and digital asset stockpile. This is a promise that you made throughout the campaign, and today we're keeping that promise. The reserve will be capitalized with Bitcoin that the federal government already owns, so it won't cost taxpayers a dime. This is like a digital.
The reserve will be created with Bitcoin the federal government already owns, doesn't cost taxpayers a dime. So that's key. It's not an investment. That's why Bitcoin didn't go up in price.
Digital Fort Knox for digital gold. And
that's another key thing. Bitcoin is the ultimate digital gold. You have the digital asset stockpile, which I think is also going to be confiscated crypto, and we're going to go to another clip of it. But Bitcoin is digital gold, and then you've got XRP, faster transactions. That's going to probably be something they buy. And there's other cryptos that have potentially better technologies, but Bitcoin is the digital gold because of the finite supply. I mean, technically, they all have finite supply, but you have the big daddy with Bitcoin, and that's the main investment for the United States government. Well, it's not an investment, but it is going to be the main thing that they have in their, I guess you can't even call it a digital stockpile, because the digital stockpile does not include Bitcoin. Bitcoin is its own thing. It's like they have a Bitcoin reserve and then a digital stockpile. They're two different things. But I mean, I guess you could combine them.
Premature sales of Bitcoin over the past years cost American taxpayers over $17 billion in lost value because we didn't have a long-term strategy.
Right.
Now we do. So.
And this is something you believe in fully?
100%, yeah.
Okay.
And the whole community believes in it.
Very good. And they made the promise, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's a good signature. That's a good signature. And then look at these people. And this is something you believe in. Okay, then very good. I made this premise. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is what it is. I don't know these people, these crypto people. But listen, take a look at this. David Sachs talking about this. Give it some input.
Well, good to be here. I mean, the reason why we need a Bitcoin reserve is that the federal government already owns some. In fact, it obtained around 400,000 Bitcoin over the past decade through criminal and civil forfeitures and seizures. And so the government has to have a strategy for how it deals with this. In the past, the strategy has been simply to sell it, in an ad hoc way, almost willy-nilly. And that cost American taxpayers something like $17 billion in lost value. So we want to have a long-term strategy to maximize the value of these holdings. And we've decided that Bitcoin is scarce, it's valuable, and that it's strategic for the United States to hold on to this as a long-term reserve asset. So that's the plan with the 200,000 Bitcoin that we believe are in the possession of the federal government. And I say we believe because no one really knows for sure because we never had a proper audit. So that's one of the first things that this executive order provides, that we're going to do a full government-wide audit to find out what digital assets we actually have so they can be safeguarded and moved into a strategy that maximizes their long.
Right, and so he also talked about the digital assets reserve, and he said that, well, Trump he just mentioned the top 5 biggest cryptos in terms of market cap. So I don't know if he's hinting at maybe some of those assets not being involved, because we know, just take for example, you take a look at this. Well, Bitcoin, I don't know if this is updated. Bitcoin, even on the day so far, we'll be watching it for sure. But yeah, I think, you're talking about 150, 200K maybe as a cycle top. And you can see the total supply right now sitting at 19.8 million, with the United States in this stockpile supposedly having around 200K. That's confiscated. That's not an investment. That's why it didn't go up. Otherwise, if they said they were going to make a big investment to try and buy like 3% of the supply or 5% of the supply, it would definitely go up. Whether or not it's, a fake pump or whatever, but, you could argue that, but it would have gone up. And then Ethereum, I mean, I don't know about Ethereum adding it. Ethereum's had a really bad cycle. I'm not going to go analyze all of these, but like you can see when Trump announced that some of these coins like XRP was going to be a part of it, these coins, they jumped pretty significantly. ADA jumped. BNB could possibly be part of it. Solana could be part of it. I think Chainlink could be part of it as well. Avalanche is another one that could be. I'm not sure how many. Some of this is like they don't even know which digital assets they have. This is really all just stuff they're finding. And it's not even, I mean, this is good, and this is a common sense thing to embrace crypto and have a strategy when it comes to maximizing the profit off of crypto that you've confiscated. But this isn't like the full balls to the wall, let's go and invest into this because we believe that this is going to go up long term. more significantly than some of the other stuff the US government is investing into. At least right now, that's not what this is. This is just, it's like a win-win for Trump, but it's not the full investment because they're not buying more. It's just we're seeing what we have, and instead of just automatically selling it, we will create this stockpile and disclose it and say we've got this amount of this, and it's going to be a lot more organized. And again, it is a commitment to where they're going to hold it and maximize the profit of it rather than doing what the government has been doing. I mean, he said that they confiscated around 400,000 BTC, and supposedly they have 200K left, or that's what they're starting the stockpile with. Again, that's not through an investment. That is through just BTC they've confiscated. So, and I think it's probably going to be a lot in terms of the digital stockpile. I'm not sure there's going to be an investment in any of these other coins. It's probably just what they've confiscated. How much XRP have they confiscated? How much Solana have they confiscated? BNB, we'll see. That I don't think that was mentioned by Trump. It might have been, but I know ADA was mentioned. So we'll have to see. It would be cool if they had a Dogecoin, because I do think Dogecoin will probably do a 10x this cycle. I think it's going to go to $2 if we do have the bull run, and we hopefully it happens. But yeah, that's basically it. And so that is the Bitcoin strategic reserve, starting off with 200K. I would have loved to have seen a bigger investment, honestly. But this is a very safe thing for Trump. It's no taxpayer money. There's no real investment. It is quite simply making it to where it's organized and to where we can maximize value rather than what we've been doing, which is it's like there's no adoption to crypto and how to deal with this stuff when it's like the government's just been randomly selling it, totally disregarding the idea of 4-year cycle or when to sell it, when to buy it. Although I don't think they're going to be buying it, but who knows? Maybe they will make a commitment to buying it. But this is just the first step of it. So when it comes to the digital assets, again, if I had to predict, maybe I guess Ethereum. I mean, Ethereum is the second highest in terms of market cap. I think Ethereum will probably, hopefully it'll go to like 12K. You lose faith at a certain point though, because you look at the last year, it's down in a bull cycle. XRP, I would imagine, is going to be part of it. BNB will probably be part of it. Solana will probably be part of it. ADA, maybe. I mean, I know Trump talked about it. Tron, maybe. Chainlink, maybe. HBAR, maybe. Stellar, maybe. Avalanche, maybe. Polkadot, maybe. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Links to that's always in the description.